Hey y'all, it's Jessica from Sloppy Swatches. Today I have a look at the monthly awareness polish box for the month of October 2017. This month, 10% of all proceeds will be donated to You Can Thrive in honor of breast cancer awareness. I will link that organization down below if you'd like to look more into it. You can purchase just one polish of any choice that you'd like for $11 plus shipping, or any four for $40, or you can purchase the entire box for $52 plus shipping. This box is available right now, and I'll link the storefront down below. I did purchase my box with a blogger's discount, and I'll go ahead and get right into it. So first up is I Love Boobies, and this is coming from Colors by Laro. This polish is described as a white crelly with pink to gold shimmer and a scattering hollow. So you can see that really gorgeous, delicate pink shimmer there on that white base. I'll go ahead and show you a quick look at that brush shot, and then I'll show you how I Love Boobies swatched on my natural nail. So this is a white crelly, however, the coverage is pretty awesome. I did go in for a little bit of a thicker first coat here. This polish is on the thicker side, which I generally prefer. You just want to make sure that you give it enough time to dry in between layers. So there's a look at that first coat. I'll let it dry and then show you how it built up for me with a second coat. So here's a quick look at that coat. I did go in a little bit thicker again like I prefer to do, and it did pull this polish completely opaque. I do just think that you need to go a little bit slow, make sure it has plenty of time to dry. So here's a look at that completed mani at just two coats before a glossy top coat underneath artificial lighting. That red shimmer is a little bit delicate on that white base, but it definitely does pop out in sunlight. So there's a view from another angle, and this is my final swatch photo at an angle in that direct sunlight. So next up is Save the Tatas, and this is coming from Sassy Pants Polish. This is described as a blush pink with iridescent rose shimmer and iridescent rainbow diamond dust, micro glitter with magenta micro flakes. So this one is super light and dainty. I'll go ahead and show you a quick look at that brush shot, and then I'll show you how Save the Tatas swatched on my natural nail. This does feel pretty much like a crelly formula as well. It is a little bit on the thicker side, and it does start out maybe a little bit sheer, but it did go on for a beautiful blush of color. This reminds me of a strawberry milk on the nails, just very soft and dainty with a little bit of shimmer going on. So I'll go ahead and show you how it built up for me with the second coat. I did go in for just a nice normal second coat, and it did pull this polish completely opaque. This is another one that you want to make just a little bit of time to dry for. So this is a look at that completed mani. Had two coats before, a glossy top coat underneath artificial lighting. This one did dry down a little bit dull on me, so I do definitely recommend going in with a glossy top coat. So this is my final swatch photo at an angle in direct sunlight. So next up is Angel Wings, and this is coming from Kathleen Co. This is my first Kathleen Co. polish. It's described as a bright pink jelly polish that's filled with glitters and flakies as well as shimmer. So this is in a little bit of a smaller bottle. I don't have the exact milliliters in here, but it does almost feel like the in-between size between a mini and a full size. I'll go ahead and show you how it's swatched on my natural nail. So here's a look at that first coat. This is definitely a more jelly polish, so it does go on a little bit sheer. I'd be interested to see how this swatches as a topper as well. I'm going to go ahead and show you how it builds up on its own though. So here's a look at that second coat. I do have pretty strong nail lines right now. I did get a lot of damage. I recently wore some gel nails for a while and then peeled them off without soaking, so I do have some damage going on. But here's a look at how it built up with that third coat. Three coats does push this one right to the edge of being full coverage. Here's a look at that completed mani at three coats before a glossy top coat underneath artificial lighting. And here's a view once more from a different angle in direct sunlight, so that shimmer really does come out in sunlight. This is my final swatch photo at an angle again in that direct sunlight. So next up is Save the Hooters, and this is coming from Night Owl Lacquer, and I see what you did there, Lindsay. This is described as a bright hot pink with iridescent shimmer and hollow flakies. So this has those hollow shredded kind of flakies that aren't going to be difficult to remove at all and look super gorgeous on the nail. There's a quick look at that brush shot, and then I'll show you how Save the Hooters swatched on my natural nail. This is almost like a crelly formula. It is a little bit squishy as well. It's kind of right in the middle. It was a little bit thicker, but super easy to use and made for awesome coverage. I did still have a tiny bit of nail line, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how it built up for me with a second coat, but this polish is easily opaque in just two. I would say it's a very strong two-coat formula. So here's a look at that completed mani at two coats before a glossy top coat underneath artificial lighting. Not much texture going on at all, but I do recommend a nice glossy top coat to help extend that wear time and bring out that hollow. So here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight, and this is my final swatch photo at an angle in that direct sunlight. So next up is a Fight Strong, and this is coming from All Mixed Up Lacquers. This polish is described as a coral base with scattered gold holographic glitter and copper to green to gold ultra chrome flakies. So this polish almost looks like a watermelon, super bright and fun with a touch of salmon or coral in there. There's a quick look at that brush shot, and then I'll show you how Fight Strong swatched on my natural nail. This is another polish that feels like it has a little bit of a jelly base that's really going to help build up, add some depth, and allow all of those flakies to shine through. I did have a little bit of pooling here. That's totally my application though. I just cleaned it right up with acetone and a cleanup brush with no issues at all. So I'll go ahead and show you how Fight Strong built up with a second coat. I did go in for a nice normal coat here, and it did push this polish to complete coverage. However, I did still have a little flash of nail line. For personal use, I think I would take the time to go in for a third coat, but here's a look at that completed mani at just two before a glossy top coat underneath artificial lighting, and then here's a view from another angle in direct sunlight with a glossy top coat. So still beautiful either way, but I do think I would prefer the depth at 3 coats. So the last polish I have today is Save Second Base, and this is coming from Pretty Beautiful Unlimited. This is a deep raspberry jelly polish filled with tons of glitters and flakes and just super stunning and burning on the nail. I'll go ahead and show you a quick look at that brush shot. This is a jelly polish, but it is a little bit on the thicker side because it is so full of all of those beautiful glitters and elements. Really beautiful pigment here. So this first coat is super close to being completely opaque in just one, especially if you like to go in for a bit of a thicker first coat. I'm going to go ahead and let that dry and then show you how it built up for me with a second coat. So this is another really strong, really easy and user-friendly 2-coat formula with no issues at all and tons of depth. I had full coverage in just those 2 coats. So here's a look at that completed mani at 2 coats before a glossy top coat underneath artificial lighting. Maybe just the slightest texture going on in here, and it does dry down maybe a touch dull. So definitely do take the time to go in for a glossy top coat. This is my final swatch photo at an angle in that direct sunlight, and that does wrap up my swatch and review of the monthly awareness polish box. Again, this is available right now. I'll link the storefront and makers down below. If you'd like to see more photos, I do have those available on my blog at sloppyswatches.com, or you can also follow me on Instagram at sloppyswatches. So thanks so much for watching, guys. See you next time.